welcome to SVG-TV News for Friday, August 31st, 2018. I'm Investor Boynes with the details. As many children from around the nation make their final preparations for the coming school year, Capital Kingston was a hive of activity today as parents and guardians sought to obtain those last-minute school supplies. Some parents told SVG-TV News that everything is in order, while others were still having difficulty getting school books, specifically the grade 6 math book.
We wanted some books for my grandson who is actually going to grade 6 this time. The math book was a bit difficult to get, but we eventually got it. But we made efforts to get it out of Trinidad, but before we could have got it out of Trinidad, the bookstore actually got it back here, so, you know, he's all ready.
Yeah, because the bookstores are running out very fast. So, well, everything going good for me right now.
Okay, which books do you see if you're having problem? Like which grade?
Grade 4.
Everything else is going good?
Yeah, everything.
Books? Any problems getting books?
No, but getting book bag and shoes is a problem.
Every year they're changing books, which I think they should be changing book every year. And because sometimes they could give somebody else who need it. That's my problem.
Okay, in which grades again?
Well, like from grade to come up. Because normally you could always help somebody who can't help themselves. So there's no problem otherwise. That's my problem basically.
Right, other than that, every other school supplies you get them okay?
Yes, everything is okay.
As the countdown continues to the start of the new school year, the proprietors of 2 bookstores have confirmed the scarcity of some books here. The proprietors of Nightingale and Games Bookstore told SVG-TV News that the grade 6 math and social studies books are hard to come by and explained why.
Yes, there has been difficulty this year because, as you may know, the maths books have been changed and a few of them are just being printed and just being made available. So, for instance, the book 5 and the book 6, this year you only got the workbooks so far. We only got our workbooks so far. The textbooks are supposed to follow. The other book is, there has been some, I don't know where the mistake came, because I know I spoke to the Ministry of Education and I mentioned the social studies because I was hearing, and so they gave me a copy of the book list. The book list carries a particular one, but some schools are using one and some are using the other. So far we have not been selling the new, the one that says primary social studies. That is not available here.
Well, generally all the books were good. There was the maths book has been revised, so it's reprinting. Some of it is still on the way, so we are still waiting, but I think they will come, and I would be able to inform persons when they are arriving. Most of the books that are changed is because of the change of the syllabus. The CPEA syllabus was introduced, and so all the books had to be adjusted. And then when CXE, they upgrade their syllabus, the books will have to be readjusted as well to suit the new syllabus. So that has been an ongoing changing process.
Many parents have been taking advantage of deals provided by many businesses to make their school supply shopping more cost-effective. SVG-TV caught up with the representatives of courts and couriers who say that because this is usually a financially strenuous period for parents, they are providing a means for parents to afford what they need.
For back to school, we always take the opportunity to assist parents make their shopping easier. We have almost everything they can have for the stationery accessories. Taking advantage with stationery especially is the main area that they're shopping in, and they have the little relaxers and the tonics and the Zentas, and so we've also been selling quite a bit of that for these past 2 days. But I know a lot of parents have chosen Careers Pharmacy or Careers Stationery Department as their location to get the stationery, the school accessories.
Because I think parents understand the importance of making sure that their children can see properly on the blackboard. that they can see properly in school, because it's crucial. If they can't see, then obviously they won't be able to perform properly in school. So we've had quite a number of persons coming in for our free eye testing and also for our very inexpensive but very high quality frames that we're offering to our customers.
As students make final preparations to return to school next Monday, those who attend the Georgetown Secondary School will have one additional week at home. The Ministry of Education said in a release today that the school will remain closed until Monday, September 10th, but that all other schools under the auspices of the ministry will reopen as planned next Monday, September 3rd. No reason was given for the delay in the reopening of the secondary school at Georgetown. A school feeding program will be piloted in 3 primary schools at the start of the new school year, which begins next Monday. The targeted schools are the Diamonds Government, Buckament Bishop Primary, and the Brighton Methodist schools. 6 ministries have teamed up in this pilot project, which is being spearheaded by the Rural Transformation Unit within the Ministry of Agriculture. Senior Technical Officer with the ministry and head of the unit, Curel Thompson Fergus, told SVG-TV News that the feeding program will complement the government's existing school feeding program.
We try to take a rural school, one that is urban and another that is a kind of peri-urban. So the criteria for the selection of the school, one is good leadership at the school level, the space for gardening, possibility and high possibility for sustenance of the project after the funding expires, and space for expansion of the infrastructure.
Thompson said in preparation for the launch of the pilot program, students got their health checked last year at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital. The preliminary findings were used to help develop menus for the children.
Each school has a manual ready by Ministry of Education, but under this project, based on the results from the nutritional assessment, if there's a deficiency or too much of one thing, that is being adjusted so that the children's needs are being met, their nutritional needs are being met, and to ensure too that there's correct portion sizes. So it's not just a belly full, it's to ensure that they have their proper portion of each from each of the food groups.
Cooks were recently trained by local consultants as they prepare for the project's implementation. The school feeding project was modeled after Brazil's feeding program, which the Food and Agriculture Organization has found to be successful. Thompson said 6 of the 11 components of the Brazil program will be implemented in SVG. This includes the planting of vegetables in the school gardens, which will sustain the feeding program.
To be able to develop the garden, we actually have a design for the garden, and that was, we had the contribution of the parents and the committee as to how they would like to see their garden, what they want to plant. Although from an agriculture perspective and from the Ministry of Health, we give guidance as to why we need to plant what we plant, because we have to plant, in a sense, things that they would eat and that would meet the needs based on the assessment. So the garden would not just be a garden, but a garden, while they learn from it, would also be things that we want to encourage them to eat based on their nutritional status.
The Traffic Department is looking to extend its reach to ensure a greater level of compliance on the roads of SVG. Inspector Henry Providence of the Traffic Department told SVG-TV News yesterday that given the legal breakthrough with the clampdown on noise in vehicles, they now intend to turn attention to extra lighted lamps on vehicles. The Traffic Corps said members of the public have complained continuously of blinding lights when driving due to the installation of lighting devices by some motor vehicle owners. He said the traffic branch has attempted to address this matter in the past, but will have an extra push this time despite the mixed results in the past, so that they can bring more order to the roads of SVG.
One of the area where I think that might apply to is the area of additional lights on motor vehicles, or the lighted lamps on motor vehicles, because persons are of the opinion that once the vehicle leaves the manufacturer with those lights, that the police then cannot prosecute. But that is not what the Act is saying. The Act is saying that once you're going to use these lights again, that you must seek written permission. And the lighting again is an area where the public is really concerned, where we have a number of reports on a daily basis coming into the department, speaking about these issues of lights, and not specifically the lights that is manufactured on the vehicle, but more so the lights that are placed on the vehicles when they come into St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And for instance, you will see a number of vehicles with those very long fluorescent lamps, if you want to call those by those names. And those are persons who have added these lights to these vehicles. And this is another area where we have been clamping down. We have started a campaign on that already, and we have received a success in this area as well. As a matter of fact, last Friday when we went out, over 60-something tickets were issued.
Health psychologist Dr. Giselle Miller is challenging the public to seize all opportunities to learn more about the transmission of the HIV/AIDS virus. Dr. Miller issued this challenge as she spoke with SVG-TV News in relation to discrimination of persons living with HIV and AIDS. The health psychologist said people still have misconceptions about the disease despite a wealth of available information, and urged that persons take the information seriously to address discrimination.
So I think what needs to happen as it relates to HIV, persons need to understand the way in which HIV is transmitted. I think a lot of the stigma that exists around HIV is a lack of knowledge. Not that the information is not available, but persons are still of the mindset that if somebody contracts HIV, that is something that is contagious and it is something that you should be fair, that they should fear. So what needs to happen, they need to get a broader understanding that the transmission depends on certain things being in place. If you're having unprotected sex, you're opening yourself up not just for HIV but other STIs. There is unwanted pregnancies as well. We want persons to know that if you are engaging in sexual activity, it's about being responsible. You have to be responsible for your own health.
Psychologist Kimberly Cambridge said discrimination is a deterrent to persons living with the disease getting tested and obtaining treatment. She called for measures to be put in place, allowing persons living with the disease to seek the needed treatment with ease.
Shouldn't be, because it's such a well-known disease at this point, but we're of course seeing problems with persons being unwilling to talk about HIV, persons being unwilling to talk to persons with HIV, discrimination of persons on the job with HIV. And the more we pretend to not deal with HIV as the common disease, or a disease, let me not say common, but the disease that it is, then the more difficult it is for us to kind of reach or have an outreach for persons living with the disease who might be ashamed and afraid of coming forward.
So basically, you try to get persons that have it to have them properly treated.
To come in for testing. We need to take the stigma away from testing as well. Persons, of course, you know that if you are sexually active with a partner who may or may not be faithful to you, you should, as often as possible, come in for testing, whether it be here at the hospital or the National AIDS Secretariat. Planned Parenthood also does testing as well.
The Agape Performing Arts Theatre is celebrating 20 years in the creative arts industry, and director Kevin Rodriguez has been reflecting on their impact on the local cultural landscape over those 2 decades. Rodriguez told SVG-TV News that the organization has positively impacted hundreds of people over that period, and in the year-long celebratory activities, they are working with schools to impart knowledge through the creative arts.
He would have mentored one of the secondary schools for 3 years to participate in the school's drama festival, mainly the Chumuka Ontario Secondary School. The Agape Performing Arts Theatre would have worked closely with that organization. Again, the theatre for transformation and theatre for empowerment, using the theatre art form to strengthen the confidence of young people. And our involvement with that particular school would have seen that the school would have entered the finals 3 years on a straight, and they also further went on to represent St. Vincent and the Grenadines in a regional festival in Barbados, and they did extraordinary well.
The group has planned a week of activities to celebrate its milestone, the highlight being the staging of a performance at the Russell's Theatre with proceeds going towards charitable causes.
towards the Rose Hall Government School-Friendly Initiative project for that particular school, and also the Chumuka Ontario Secondary School, which is my alma mater. I'll be making a special donation towards the library there in that school. And also the Best of Kevin Rodriguez will showcase his creative journey, but also giving back to young theatre practitioners that are also involved in the creative industry. And the next charity that will also benefit from the Best of Kevin Rodriguez, the production that will be staging on the 8th of September, I'll be giving back to the Believe and Defend Your Dream Academy for young entrepreneurs here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.